Okay,
We are
so
officially recording.
All
so,
right.
ladies and gentlemen, listeners, we have back on our Hanguiando series one of our guests that we enjoyed so much last time he was here, and we didn't have video, that not only did we want him back, but I was like, I'm going to be part of the interview this time.
Yes,
because
and-
generally I don't do Hanguiando
And we had
episodes.
to make sure he was on film this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's totally missed opportunity.
So
otherwise.
everybody, welcome back. Oye Dairon.
Oye Dairon, thank you.
I have to be honest. I thought that it was gonna be behind a table. I would have worn pants.
Oh, I never wore
I didn't
pants
know
for
my
these.
white ass legs. Like, look, they match the shoe.
I didn't know where
I
the shoe
would've-
started, honestly. I thought it was just
Your legs are a little pasty for Miami.
Bro,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, it's February.
So,
But it's February in Miami.
Yeah, but it's really cold for me.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a blanket behind you if you get cold in the studio.
I mean, I go.
Ya que te veo con un suéter.
I don't go to the beach till like July, August.
Coño, pero then it's really hot.
And not even. I haven't gone. People think that we live at the beach because we're from Miami, but I haven't touched salt water in like 2 years.
I haven't touched salt water.
I don't go. Además, vas para allá y está lleno de sargazo.
¿De qué?
Yeah,
De sargazo.
La hierba.
You know what sargazo is?
No.
Oh,
I'm learning so much today.
okay.
What is sargazo?
Sargazo. What's
Seaweed?
I don't know how to it's not
seaweed.
translatable.
Like
sir.
seaweed.
It's a seaweed.
Oh.
La hierba que sale
La
cadena.
mierda esa que está ahí,
Yeah.
and it itches you.
Yeah.
I go to Hollywood. I have to go to the Hollywood beach.
Ah, tú eres fino.
Porque
Yo
no tiene
soy fino.
sargazo en Broward.
No, I don't know why. I think all the sargazo gets sent to Miami.
Well, because remember where Miami Beach is, I was going to say an isthmus. No, that's a Panama
that's-
Canal. It's archipelago. It's an island. It's an island.
true.
Miami Beach is an island.
I was about
That's
to tell
right.
you, you didn't know Miami
No,
Beach.
it is.
I was like, that's a bridge.
That's what bridges are for. So what does it have to do with the seaweed?
I don't know.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
make shit up.
So you just.
But look how quickly I accepted it, right? He was like, I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it's an island,
He
of
just
course.
said, "Oh, there's seaweed because it's an
Archipelago,
it's
yeah.
because of
Maybe-
Michelangelo."
maybe-
Whatever the fuck he
maybe-
said. And then you just accepted it, and he goes, "Oh, Michelangelo." So that means that seaweed is the north.
Well,
and then I go, "Why?" I don't fuck no.
Ocean. I didn't go to Mass Academy to be an oceanographer.
That's true, that's
you know,
true.
that was a 90s thing, right?
Nobody's a marine biologist
That
anymore.
was a 90s thing.
No.
Don't you think that kids in the 90s, at least here in Miami, everybody wanted to go to Mass Academy to study oceanography?
I just think that was the joke of. That was a joke when I was growing up. Oceanography.
Yeah.
Marine biology.
Marine
Marine biology.
biology.
Marine biology.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I go. That's a joke. I said it to my mom one day. I go, I'm gonna be a marine biologist. She was like, ¿Y eso qué cosa es? Biología del mar, del ocean. ¿Pero para qué? ¿Qué tú vas a hacer ahí? Because I don't understand that.
Right.
You know, when you're a Cuban child, it's doctor or lady.
How do you think I ended up going to law school?
Yeah, I said derecho.
I said derecho.
We're talking about.
I said derecho.
said derecho.
So, y tú eres doctor en farmacia, yo estudié abogacía, porque si no, tienes que estudiar una carrera.
Oh,
Todo lo
I'm in
demás-
advertising. What a disappointment.
No,
That
todo lo
doesn't
demás.
exist in Cuba. There's no
Well, that's
advertising.
true.
What are you
Yeah,
gonna
that's true.
advertise in
What are you-
Cuba?
what are you gonna market?
Hambre. Come, ven a coger hambre. Mira, aquí no hay nada. Esta tienda está vacía.
Somebody has to work at the tourism board, okay?
Yeah, no, ven para la tienda esta. Que mira, no
I
hay
just
nada. Aquí no hay
realized
nada.
el periódico de Cuba, Grandma, doesn't have ads, no?
Of course not, bro. What? Who's gonna sponsor it? Mojón? Like,
doesn't
there's
have a
nothing
classified
Yeah, they probably
section.
don't run TV commercials either.
there. No, bro, it's Cuba. It's communism.
That'll
There's
be an interesting editorial. Grandma.
Todo está vacío. So advertising is not one of those things. Like, igual que like,
I never thought about
I
that.
remember now. I think it's very common not to like, you know, criticize anybody, pero it's not very common. I've heard from younger people that they go to therapy. It's a very common thing
Here.
amongst young people.
Not
Of course
in Cuba.
here.
Okay,
no,
here,
que
okay.
Cuba, que esta no es en Cuba. Que pinga, vete para la calle. But that growing up was something you couldn't tell
Get
your
therapy,
parents.
get therapy.
Ay, me siento mal.
Yeah, I want to go see
Me
someone.
siento like
yeah.
I'm not myself, like I'm depressed.
Ansiedad.
If I was to tell it to my mom, mira, tú sabes lo que es depression. Yo te voy a decir. Entonces you have to hear like this long ass story about el trabajo que pasaba.
Uh-huh.
Apparently all of our parents walked like 10 miles to go to school.
10 miles. Tell me, yeah.
Yeah,
10 miles.
always.
Uphill both ways.
Yeah.
Y me
Porque acuérdate que
fajé-
en Cuba hay montaña.
Right.
Yeah, y fajarse con un cocodrilo y no sé qué, y blah, blah, blah. It was always like that. So you can't, that's like, now that's a norm. People talk about it all the time like it's a norm. And it's fine because, hey, you need it.
Yeah, you should.
You need
right?
it. I
You
mean,
should.
I guess we have to say that to be politically correct.
No, but it's true. I mean, look, if you have a problem, admit it, right? Admit you have a problem and get it solved. But you're right. Yeah, that wasn't a thing growing up.
No way, bro. You couldn't say that
No.
to, like,
No.
our Cuban parents. Like, tú sabes lo que yo contaba caña, 10 horas.
Yeah, because your problems were never going to superar los
Y
de ellos.
terminaba con la
No.
espalda partida
No.
y después el
Allá.
próximo día lo mismo.
Y
It's
después,
like,
¿para cómo venir a empezar de nuevo en este país sin
empezar de
saber el
cero.
idioma, sin tener nada?
it doesn't matter what struggles you go through. Their struggle was always bigger. I mean, it was. I mean,
was.
We didn't have to flee our home, but
Hey,
you know.
hey, my struggle is that sometimes I have to reset my router because the Wi-Fi is not working.
How do you make it through the day?
But there was, and then I see my kids complain about shit like that, like when the Wi-Fi isn't working. I'm like, bro, you have no problems. I feel like
Dairon,
my
are you
parents
that?
are
Are
mean.
you that type of guy that your Wi-Fi network name is like Cojón de Oso or something
No,
like
no,
that?
no, no,
You
no.
seem like that type of guy.
No. But I have. Sorry. When I look up the nearby Wi-Fi's, I have Cojón de Oso. That reminds me.
Doesn't
They used to
seem
tell
like
me
that
that.
type?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
They used to tell me that, like, vete a bañar, tienes pesta Cojón de Oso. It was Cojón de Oso or.
how many bears were in Cuba that
Yeah,
everybody knew what it
Cojón
smelled
de
like?
Oso.
Yeah.
No, and you got close enough
Right, to
to
sniff it,
smell.
yeah.
It's Cojón. Not the bear, because the bear you can smell from like 10
Right.
feet away. No, it's
Cojón de
Cojón.
Oso.
Not Cojones. His one
Which
Cojón.
means that there must have been a distinction of the smell of the bear and its balls.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
one Cojón.
So the American grizzly made it to Cuba.
Apparently very stinkily.
I mean, I'm sure the American grizzly was bigger and better and
Yeah,
stronger in Cuba.
El oso cubano. Era un oso ruso que lo trajeron los rusos. The Soviets.
yeah, the
the
Soviets.
brought bears.
That's right, with those circuses.
The
Yes.
Soviets
Yes.
brought bears.
No. The Soviets are big on bears.
They
Yeah,
are. They
yeah,
have them in
yeah.
their little circuses with the hats.
They are.
Yeah.
The Russian bear is a big thing. No, but it was Cojón de Oso and Timón de Guagua. Did
Timón
you
de
ever heard that
guagua.
one?
Timón de guagua, no sé.
Not as much as Cojón de
bañar.
Oso,
My
but
mama
yes.
told me, vete a bañar porque tienes peste a Timón de Guagua.
And you know what? I know exactly what that smells like.
Me too.
I know exactly what that means.
Like an
Yes.
old steering wheel.
Old
Like the
steering
leather
wheel.
and the
sun,
sweat
like,
and the
yeah.
sun and the guy holding it all day with his peste a Cojón de Oso.
I'm just thinking about la peste que hay en la guagua.
It's a superimposed.
Isn't that a great word? Guagua.
It's a layered
Guagua.
sting.
To me, this gas station is named after the bus. Guagua.
Do you know that Wawa? Oh, that's a great point. You're like a genius.
Yo soy un doctor, un licenciado,
Un doctor en
derecho. Estamos
But let me
aquí,
tell you something.
aquí hay dos doctores.
Dos
tú no,
doctores.
No,
tú
I'm
no.
not, I'm not even a nurse.
Yeah, es un doctor en comer.
You're not even in the hospital.
Not even admin.
Do you know that the W? This was I learned this like a couple weeks ago. I don't know how it came up. Like this, how we're always talking shit. The W doesn't exist in the Spanish language.
La W. What do you mean?
So
it
how
doesn't
do you-
exist?
Wawa is just that's an American company. Wawa. Guagua is with a G.
Yeah, it's GUA, right?
It's
Guajiro.
guagua?
Guajiro
Yeah.
is GUA.
Yeah.
Wait,
So
the
the-
W isn't in the Spanish?
Nope. The like water, where.
Pero
like,
sí, pero se dice W.
Yeah, but
It's
you know
a
what?
letter, but
Wait
it's
a
not
minute.
used.
I'm thinking about it, and I can't think of any
No,
words
because
that start with a W in
it's
Spanish.
GU.
Right.
Guajiro is GUA.
Well, but then again, you're talking about
Didn't you just learn
Spanish.
some shit right now?
But then you're talking about
That's why you
Spanish,
guys have me,
which
because you
has,
learn
you know,
shit.
the H, and you don't pronounce the H.
Yeah, but then English, sometimes you pronounce it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's thrown behind
Oh,
a
no,
letter.
no, English has-
Dairon is providing the laughing and the learning.
Yes.
You guys are providing the laugh. So I wanna actually first of all,
I'm still not over the no words start with
No,
W's. This is
try to
something
think.
I'm gonna.
and
No,
that's
yeah,
my
let
camera
us
right
know.
there. That's
Yeah.
my camera. Try to think of a Spanish word that starts with W. There is none.
I can't think of one.
There is G.
Hueva.
What?
Hueva.
You know what, sir? You win.
No, wait.
You win.
Yeah, you win. Lawyer. He just lawyered us, of course. It had to be the lawyer. It had to be the lawyer.
Licenciado doctor.
Like Spain Spanish. Like the zapatos. Zapatos.
España española.
Español viene de España, pues. No viene de Cuba.
Eso lo va a aceptar, ¿cómo se llama? La academia del idioma esa. The
You can Google that shit right now.
España.
There is no W.
The words that start with W in Spanish.
I will send $100 to anybody that finds. Whoa,
Okay,
whoa,
well-
whoa,
No way.
It's been said. I don't know. It's on the record.
I will send a $5 gift card.
You will send a ticket to your next show.
I don't have any shows planned.
I didn't say it was happening soon.
Okay, but that's hard to keep. That's hard to
I just want to
bookkeep.
tell I want
That's
to
a lot of
tell
bookkeeping.
I want to tell our our viewers that there's no structure in today's episode.
No.
We are just shooting the shit.
And also,
With us, we just said,
brought
yeah, let's
rum and Coke.
Let's
Yeah.
just go talk.
So we're
Coca-Cola.
So
we're having-
I want
yes.
to
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, yes.
I want to now that,
Rum and Coca-Cola.
that we're on video and Dairon is back on our podcast. Yo quiero verla sacarle aire en cara that when we started the podcast in 2018, he was the very first person we invited to our podcast. The very first person. Because when Ish and I were like talking about like especially local comedians and influencers that we wanted on the show, we're like, damn,
It
back
makes
then you were like up and coming, right? Because it was 8 years ago. We were like, oh yeah, we want to do that. Oye Dairon guy that has, los viejos, he makes fun of los viejos y se hace así, to hacer como la vieja. And this guy over here, 7 years later, it was season 7, right?
Season 7.
Came on our show because he never read the text. Do you still have the text?
never read the
that it
DM.
was unread.
I send it to you. That time
I
when we
think-
did
yeah,
this,
yeah,
I
you
did.
did.
I don't
Yeah,
know where
yeah.
that is now.
Yeah.
I don't even have my phone on me. But that time.
Now we have each other's numbers.
That time, I told bro, look, I never even read it because at that time it was a lot. Every video would come in with like all these followers and all these messages, and it was just I wouldn't.
And
even
somehow we got lost in that shuffle.
We got lost in the show.
But the
wouldn't
good thing
even
is
open
that 7 years ago, 7 years later, I think you were at the house. He showed it to you.
Yeah.
It was like unread. It was still there.
yeah.
Coño, you have a lot of.
Actually, no, not at the house. It's when we ran into each other at that show. Because I pulled you aside and I was like, "Hey, we want you on the show," and you're like, "Yeah." I
Oh,
think I
that's
know."
right.
And then you're like, "Bro, look, this is the DM. It's still there." So you're.
Oye, Dairon, ¿qué tú me dices? That because this is we're in February. This might air in February, March. Who knows?
April, May, December. Merry Christmas to
Merry
everybody. Happy
Christmas.
New Year. I'm wishing you all great things for
Okay,
2026.
this is
just
go-
in case.
It's gonna air
We're having a
soon.
great Kwanzaa.
It's gonna air soon. Oye, ¿qué tú me dices a mí of all the restrictions that they're passing for spring breakers this year in Miami Beach? ¿Tuviste eso?
Well,
Parking's $100.
Well, that was last year too, right?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, the
but
parking was also
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
The
but-
parking I think is new.
No.
The $100.
Oh no, you're right. That is new. Last year, what they did was they just closed
The
the
others,
garages.
the alcohol cut off, no sé qué, like
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff. Bro, I'm 39.
Oh, baby.
That means that doesn't affect me. But back in the day, I tried to do spring break once there, and it was like, oh my god,
It's
it's just a pain in the ass.
When did
dude.
spring
It's-
break become a thing here in Miami? Because it wasn't always like that.
It's not for us because here's the thing: if you're some gringo from Wisconsin and you don't get to party your whole life, you turn 18, you go to college. So that's why you see all these. Remember Girls Gone Wild videos?
Yep.
And all the crazy college kids. That's like an American white
It is.
culture thing.
I remember
not for us.
I remember being in high school and remember MTV used to do the spring break
right.
Yes.
in Panama City, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what is that? Like, why are people like?
I always knew about spring break because of things like
The movie?
like movies, like,
Yeah.
like Porky's and like all those movies. But again, that's all very like Americano. That's very
And
white.
I notice that when I travel, like when I go to Europe, for example, like last time that I went to a club in London and it was late, there were some people there from another country and they're like, oh, it's late, it's like 3 a.m. I'm like, this is the norm.
That's cuando
In
empieza la
Miami is the norm.
Yeah.
Like I did the marathon, I did the half
Oh,
marathon.
congrats, by the way, you did. I saw that.
I mean,
Congrats.
not congrats. I mean,
Okay,
I was regretting that shit the whole
listen, we didn't run anywhere, so congratulations.
so thanks.
Okay.
But here's the crazy part. It goes through, it starts at Casella, goes over the bridge, the cruise ships, goes to Nikki Beach, goes to South Beach. And when Miami is shut down and the streets are open for you, Miami's beautiful.
Because that starts
when
at
there's
like
no traffic.
5 a.m, right?
Yeah, it started like at 6 a.m., dude.
So for many years, I lived in Marina Blue, the building
Okay.
directly across the arena. And I didn't know the Miami Marathon, the start and finish was literally right there. And one day at like 5 a.m, I'm like, "Que bullería!" Like all the way up in the 40th floor. Este cándalo, where's this coming from? And then I look down the balcony and I'm like, there's like 1 million people downstairs on the street. What the hell is this? Oh, it was the Miami Marathon.
Yeah. So look, exactly. Like there were people pissed.
Era de noche.
There were people pissed because they couldn't get out of their apartment buildings because the cops are blocking it. I'm like, what do you want me to do?
This happens every year. I mean, come on.
You have to know if you buy an apartment in a hot zone,
Right.
You gotta know there's always some shit going on. Boat show, art week, los elefantes cuando traen unos come mierda.
The heat games.
Unos elefantes. Yeah, you know that's gonna happen. But here's where I was getting at. When you turn on 17th y te ponen por Washington, Madonna's, the strip club is there. Bro, so
That's still there.
yeah, it's still there. I learned it this weekend because it was like 8:30 a.m.
Right, because
8
you
a.m.
haven't touched salt water in a long
Yeah,
time. So
I don't touch
there's no reason
saltwater,
why
so
you're in the beach.
Or body glitter, I guess.
So we're running and we see, and the doors are open and people are coming out of the strip club. And that's when I realized how diverse and dynamic Miami is. You got these people who woke up at 5 a.m. to run 13 miles if you did the half, 26 miles if you did the full. That's crazy. 26 miles, that's crazy. But there's people coming out of the strip club as people are running. I'm like, hacer it. And then you go through Alton, Italo Julios, que salen ahí,
Right.
They're literally
Yeah,
the
yeah.
people with the thing, washing their cars in front of the golf course, people golfing. I'm like, bro, this is it's like a video game.
Yeah,
It's like a microcosm of everything that happens here in the span of like 6
Yeah,
months.
man, I got to see everything.
Yeah.
How did you feel
When
throughout the process of running the marathon?
starting it was like, yeah, you're pumped. And then you start on Biscayne Boulevard on US 1 y te ponen en la rampa esa que va para el 395.
Right, para los cruceros.
Because there's construction there, it's one lane. So everybody's putting like cattle. Right? And there's traffic. Literally, people traffic. So you have to walk. As soon as you start running, you have to walk. And I go to the people next to me. I said it. Hasta caminando, aquí hay tráfico. You can't get away from it, bro.
You know, it's funny. Some years ago, I was ambitious and I wanted to do a marathon. So I trained to do a marathon, but I only got to like 10, 12 miles because I got runner's knee. And a friend of mine put it in perspective when she's like, you do realize that a full marathon is like running from, here to Fort Lauderdale. And I was like, what? Like, when they put that perspective, I was like,
That's
esto es
insane.
masoquista.
That's
Like,
insane. That's insane.
What prompted you to want to do it?
I don't know. I don't know sometimes why I do the shit that I do. Sometimes I'm just like, honestly, no, I'm gonna say why. I was overweight.
Because I was like, when you walked in, like you've lost weight. I mean,
Yeah,
you're,
so
if that, like, in shape.
I was overweight last year, and I said I need something. Like I need a
goal.
Because if not, what are you just doing? Working, kids, traffic, comiendo de Chipotle, and then go to sleep. Like then you're feeling bad about yourself. So I'm like, I need a goal. So me and my boy, we signed up for it. He's done it before. I had never done it. He did it last year. So you book it, and you're like, okay, so now I have this date. I need to survive this date. So empiezas a correr, cutting back on the food, whatever, the alcohol. Y bajé de peso because if I would have done it at the weight I was, my knees would have fucking.
I think that's also a microcosm of Miami.
Yeah.
Some people run marathons, some people do Ozempic.
Yeah.
Hay de todo un poco.
So let me tell you what's going on with that. I don't know. You know, I'm a pharmacist. So
I was gonna say, did you
pharmacist.
bring some? Or
You want Ozempic?
or did you just bring rum?
No, if you want Ozempic, bro, it's like $1,000. Our cost is like $1,000, 1,000 something. I can't say exactly what it is.
Per jeringuilla?
Per jeringuilla.
That's the most cute Miami Spanglish. That's the most Miami Spanglish thing I've ever heard.
Per jeringuilla.
That
As one
is the
says.
best unit of measurement I've ever heard. Not per shot, per box, per dose. No, per jeringuilla. That was perfect. No.
Welcome to Pero Let Me Tell You.
Listen, laugh, and learn.
We're glad you're here.
This is like the live, love. What was this?
We don't do that bullshit.
This
Live,
shit the
love, laugh.
basic. Remember that shit the basic bitches had in their
love,
wall.
laugh.
Live,
love, laugh.
Listen,
Live,
laugh,
love,
learn.
laugh.
Listen,
Yeah.
laugh, learn. You need the arrows though. The tribal arrows.
More rustic looking.
Yeah.
No, it's like 1,000 something. I can't say the right,
right.
except because
$1,000.
because I work. I get in trouble with work if I say the actual cost. Is 1,000 and change
Okay.
less than 1,100. So that's as as specific as I can get for a box.
Mind you, I was like, we
The
didn't
price,
I didn't realize we were
1,050 for 1,030.
$1.
1,060.
Congratulations. You're going to the Showcase Showdown.
1,060 and 1 penny.
I got to play play.
You notice that in the Price is Right, people always won trips to Aspen?
They did.
Do you know why?
Wait.
You know what that? No, not why. This isn't
No,
a
no,
why.
I wanna hear
but now
why.
it's something just hit. No, not because it's an archipelago. It's an archipelago.
No, there aren't archipelagos in Aspen. They're plateaus because it's a mountain range. Listen, I know topography. I know topography. I will not be shamed for knowing land masses.
You know what? That's true.
You know why? Because
you know
this
what
is what you call a callback instead of
Oh
comedy.
my gosh. Oh my god.
Wait, we'll get back to the
This is what
Ozempic.
you call a callback.
Absolutely.
Where you reference something. It's an archipelago.
One time, yo tengo alguien en mi familia que es un poco come mierda. And they were traveling, they were traveling. I don't know where they were traveling about. And they were like, I'm trying to be as neutral as possible. And they were trying to be like, oh, because I was traveling in the Mediterranean and we went to an archipelago. And I was like, really? You went to an archipelago? And I'm like, and where was this archipelago? And I don't know if it was the Greek Isles or whatever they were talking about. And he's like, oh, you heard of the archipelago? I go, yeah, there's many of them. The Keys are an archipelago. Like, Miami Beach is an archipelago. There's many of them. He's like, oh, there's more than one. I'm like, yeah, there's more than one.
Y todos tienen sargazo. Todos tienen sargazo. Because the reason for the sargazo is that there's an archipelago.
Yeah, but you wouldn't
Like
know.
Aspen.
You wouldn't know because you don't go near saltwater.
Except for the marathon.
Okay, so let's
See, it's all
as close as you got.
Okay,
we're building a story, guys.
Let's go back to the Ozempic.
I don't know what the fuck.
I was like, I don't know.
Okay, the Ozempic, that's between $1,000 and $1,100.
Then we went to Price and Right archipelago.
Aspen
Okay.
RVs.
So it's a box of 4 auto injectors.
Jeringuillas.
As we established.
It's a smart jeringuilla.
It's a smart.
Yeah, that you just gotta press.
Wait,
And
what's the difference
those-
between a smart jeringuilla and a dumb jeringuilla?
So this one, you take it. So you take out the
La tapa. I hope you're all enjoying this. I hope you're all enjoying this. You know what's great about him being here is that because he has nothing to promote, there's no agenda.
It's the per jeringuilla, per
Me tengo que quitar los espejuelos.
jeringuilla. That was the first one. And then I go, you take out la tapa, the archipelago.
I need this as an instructional video.
Me veo.
This is an
Okay,
instructional
this
video.
is Dairon.
Focus.
guide to Ozempic.
Dairon, Farm D, giving your.
Acuérdate que tú eres un doctor.
So you got the auto injector. Tiene la tapa. The end cap.
Okay.
The cap, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Y la aguja está adentro. And it's a plunger. You press it. Te lo mete. You hold it. And
That's one dose.
that delivers the liquid. Then once it's done, the needle retracts back into the
That
into the
is- that
device.
is
That's what makes
smart.
it smart. Okay.
That's why That's not why it's expensive. That's plastic. That's cheap. They make that shit in China. It's expensive because it's big pharma. So
ya
Eli Lilly, or the other one that makes it. I forgot who makes the other one.
So va a subir la precio ahora que there's tariffs since la jeringuilla made in China.
For the plastic, for the auto injector, for the jeringuilla. The tapa is going to come with a tariff fee.
Not the Ozempic, pero la tapa.
La tapa. Eli Lilly makes a drug called tirzepatide under a brand name that is for diabetes. But then they discovered that you lose weight with it, so they were able to get the FDA because the FDA is owned by them. Big Pharma owns the FDA in this country. So they were able to name that another thing for weight loss. So it's the same.
So they're still selling it as two separate things.
It's the same tirzepatide. It's the same ingredient, but one is Zepbound for weight loss, and the other one is tirzepatide.
That sounds like el nombre de abono para la planta. Déjame echarle tirzepatide a la rosa, a la orquídea, gladiolo.
The other one, the competitor is semaglutide. So you got your Pepsi and your Coke, basically.
Okay.
So semaglutide is the Ozempic. So since they were first, everybody calls it, dame rum and Coke.
Yeah.
Is Pepsi okay? When has anybody said,
everybody calls tissue Kleenex.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let me ask you something since you're
bumping.
a real pharmacist. Why do drug names have such hard names? It's like harder than the names in IKEA.
So the chemical name is regulated that it has to be named based on the chemical. So tirzepatide, they have Zepbound for weight loss, and I think it's Manjaro for diabetes. What boggles the mind is how you get insurance. Insurance doesn't pay for weight loss, but it'll pay for diabetes. So if you have a diabetes diagnosis, they'll pay for the same drug
under this name,
but not for this one. Because Big Pharma is Big Pharma. They have billions and billions of dollars. They run this country. They run the world. Big Pharma runs the world.
I thought it was girls.
Yeah, well, there's probably girls there.
Beyonce lied to us.
There's probably, I think Beyonce's at the head of the board of Eli Lilly or one of those.
You
big
think
pharma.
so?
Probably. Who knows?
Is that her next album?
Anyway, they made
Dr. Knowles.
Jeringuilla con la tapa de la jeringuilla.
The jeringuilla
That's
remix.
the next reggaeton song. La tapa de la jeringuilla.
Okay, I'm just putting it on the record right now that if Bad Bunny releases a song called Jeringuilla, it's because of us.
Yeah. It's good that you claim that now, bro.
I'm putting it out there, guys.
Yeah. So they make tons of money, bro. Tons of money. And the other people too. I forgot who makes the other one. Ozempic. Novordisk. Whatever the fuck.
Novordisk.
They make Ozempic for diabetes. Wegovy. Same drug. Semaglutide.
Wegovy?
Yeah.
That sounds like something that you would have in a Japanese restaurant.
Yeah, Wegovy. It sounds like I have the Wegovy.
Wegovy.
You know why you're
With a
confusing
side of spicy mayo.
Yeah, that's on the side for sure.
You're confusing it with what's this beef called?
Wasabi? No, Gobi.
The
Wagyu.
Wagyu. Wegovy beef. That's why.
A5. The best.
I was just about to say, it's Japan and
An archipelago? Well, there's several islands.
There are islands in Japan.
Japan is a system of islands.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Is that what an archipelago is?
Yeah,
A
como
system of
decía.
islands.
Oh, because we went to the archipelago, and I'm like, you mean an archipelago? Well, I remember when I said that, I said it very like Anglo. I'm like, you mean an archipelago? Like,
That means that they heard it from a tour guide. A tour guide said, "Hey, aquí está no sé qué archipelago." Mira, archipelago.
I'm like, oh, there's more than one. I'm like, yeah, there's
Because
several.
there's peninsula.
Right, which is what we're on.
Where?
Yes. Yeah.
Isthmus.
I know isthmus. I just don't know what an isthmus is.
A canal.
An isthmus.
A body of
no,
water.
No, nada. An isthmus is.
He got very defensive about the canal.
I know topography. Damn
This
it.
guy did topography. He took topography.
An isthmus is a thin piece of land that connects two larger bodies of land. Hence, the Panama Canal. It's in the Panama Isthmus.
So the isthmus is like the taint.
Okay, I wasn't going there.
But a body of land or body of water?
Yeah, a body of land. It connects. It's a small little piece of land that connects two larger
shit.
pieces
Una
of.
tanguita.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. That's why the Suez Canal is in the Isthmus of
yes.
by Saudi Arabia
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
that and
In
up there.
Egypt.
And yeah, in Egypt.
Or whatever, between Africa and...
Tú sabes que eso está lleno de pirates.
The canal.
Yeah. ¿Tú no sabías eso? Didn't you see the Tom Hanks movie?
The Somali pirates.
That's a Somalia. That's the
Yeah, but that's
the
at
horn.
the end of the
The
canal.
Horn of Africa.
Yeah, that's at the end of the canal. Cuando salen del canal.
I know. I remember that shit.
I love that we have been able to talk about things that are actually like real. You know, like genuinely like educational, and then Hanguiando. Like
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's educational too.
That-
we
that's
learned that
true.
there's smart ones and dumb ones.
that is
This is like the Magic School Bus.
right.
You have fun watching it and you learn.
that's true.
Listen,
And there might be a
laugh,
crazy redhead driving outside. We don't know.
There's still pirates there? Or that
Yeah.
ended?
No, that
No,
ended.
that's still a thing.
I thought that ended, when they rescued Tom.
I was about to say.
When they rescue Tom Hanks are like the end of piracy. That's
I
it.
remember, like,
I would say there's Dothraki pilot, but I'm thinking of Game of Thrones.
I was gonna
Sorry.
say, isn't that Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Dothraki?
Dothraki? Damn.
Did
how
you
many-
watch Game of Thrones?
Of course.
Okay, so
That was
2019.
Hello, that was a phenomenon, a global phenomenon.
2019, so it's been 4 or 5 years. I'm not over it. When I think of the disappointments in my life, the end of Game of Thrones is there.
So you know how I cope with that? I just ignore the ending and I just enjoy the journey. Because life is a
And
journey.
so you just
not
don't watch the last
destination.
episode.
Es que I don't know if there's a rant video that I have from years ago about that. I was so pissed.
About the ending?
Yeah, I was so pissed. I'm like, why did Jon Snow take credit for killing her? Like, why did he do that? Why did he take the blame? He could have just said, oh, the dragon went crazy and slept on her and flew off. No sé, she was stuck to the bottom of his feet. I said that in the video and I'm like, I don't understand. Bro, that was such a global phenomenon. Every country in the world watched that. And it was just... Do you remember watching it real time? Not like now.
I
that you can
watched
just
it
stream
real time, and it was una tortura.
he had
because
a finale
I had a party. I had a
Me too.
party.
I used to have
had like
that
a
too.
medieval party in my house.
I used to have those two. Not medieval. I used to have regular parties.
We all rented chainmail. It was great.
No, I
And then
had regular
I always
parties.
would say that watching Game of Thrones, it was a hard show to watch because, first of all, it was just usually 10 episodes a season, and then it would be gone for about 5 years, right? And then you're waiting, and then it comes back, and then it would always end in like a cliffhanger. Nada se resolvía, and then
So every episode, it was on Sundays on HBO. Everybody would get in. Oh my god, it's crazy. I remember the craziest moment. The craziest moment was when they take down her dragon up allá in the snow. Y los muertos estos,
The ice walkers.
los muertos fríos, started pulling. It ends like this. You remember? They're pulling it with the chains, the dragon, and the dragon opens his eye and it's blue. And then it ends. And you're like, oh, these motherfuckers have a dragon. Bro, eso fue una
Y
locura.
ahora tú me dejas the season ending or cliffhanger where you thought Jon Snow died.
Yes.
And I was like, and then it was believable because they've killed off main
yeah, that show
characters
cared about
before.
nobody.
So
Hey,
it was like it was believable.
You know what? I think that was the formula for that show. That you start off, you're like, oh, Ned Stark is gonna be the hero. This guy's gonna last the whole. And they kill him in the first season.
yeah.
At the end of the first season, they kill him, and you're like, oh, okay. You're like, Jeffrey can't die. He's the villain. They kill that motherfucker, and then Ramsay Bolton's an even bigger villain. You're like, how did this? That's why it was so good, man.
Yeah.
People and the dad, what was his name, bro? Tyrion's father, the Lannister. El hijo puta.
Jamie.
No, the dad.
Que
Que lo matan cagando.
Twin Lannister. sí.
Twin Lannister.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Que está cagando.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally cagando. Y
was.
the son shoots him in the...
And he goes, "You just shot me."
Yeah. You shot him. That's a bad way to go, bro. Crossbow, cagando. But...
I mean,
Yeah,
What's
man.
the worst part about that? The crossbow or the cagando?
It's that, that wasn't expected either. Nothing in that show was... The Red Wedding.
was not nothing. It was. I realize that when a show has the hype that Game of Thrones did, you're never going to be completely satisfied with the finale, right?
Yeah.
You're always going to have certain things. But you know what, though? I will counter that with saying that, like, Breaking Bad was an amazing show. And the finale of Breaking... Did you watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I did.
The finale was incredible. It was
Yeah.
incredible. But
There's no excuse.
I understand that with Game of Thrones, the stakes were very high. But I remember my friend and I, we were, like, really into it. And we would joke around. We'd be like, bro, can you imagine if, like, Bran gets on the Iron Throne? And we'd be like, ha, ha, ha. When that started happening on the show, I was like, what? I was like, what? Bran is gonna get the iron. Like, I'm not over it. It's one of my like greatest life's disappointments. I'm not. I was so invested in that show.
I know, me too.
I
Me too, bro.
had a party with a picture of Daenerys, and wasn't Daenerys a great name? It's like, you know how many people, like how many Kuanas are named Daenerys?
I was gonna say yes. We've been using that name.
It
forever.
was actually during that. There's a report. There's a statistic. It was one of the most common girl names.
Right, but we had coined that name.
I mean,
a while.
Danari ya eso existía.
Oh my God! Speaking of Game of Thrones, I not too long ago I had a client that her daughter was named Khaleesi. Khaleesi.
Really? How old
Yes,
is she?
It's a baby.
Okay, so she was named. Okay,
So I
after the show.
asked her, "Oh, you named her because of Game of Thrones, right?" She's like, "Yeah, it's a really nice name." And I'm like, "Oh, it is." And I'm like, "Did you watch the end?" And she's like, "No, I haven't watched the end." I'm like, "Keep it that way."
Can you imagine you name your child and then you watch the ending? Hi, bro. You know what? The thing about the Bran was his name, right?
Yeah.
That didn't upset me as much because he can't have any heirs. It breaks the chain of that whole dynasty shit. It was upsetting, but not as much as what she did. Que se volvió loca, que mata al mundo, and just
For no reason.
We spent 8 years watching her build an
because she
army.
didn't watch it.
I didn't really watch the
She
show.
went crazy because of a man. Because of Jon Snow. Jon Snow rejected her.
It happened.
And I'm like, you went.
I'm like, are you from Miami, girl? Like,
I was gonna say,
is Daenerys Targaryen from Miami?
We all have
Una
Instagram.
tóxica.
We've seen
Es
it.
una
Una
tóxica.
tóxica from Hialeah. Like,
Bueno, y ellos eran primo.
Más todavía.
that's right.
Ellos eran primo.
That's right.
Because he's part Targaryen.
¿Verdad que sí?
Daenerys y Juan eran primos.
Hi, pero, es que, like...
Oh my God. I remember a few years ago when that was happening. This, I went to, what's the one down here? GameCon, the Comic Con down here. Supercon. And it was during the height of Game of Thrones. I went and there was a guy dressed as Jon Snow. He was Latin, and I'm like, "Tú eres Juan Nieves," and he like went along with the joke. He was like laughing. He's like, "Yeah, soy Juan Nieves," and I'm like, his costume was like great. Have you ever been to one of those conventions?
No. Did I?
That would be, you know, what would be great.
That would be
Be a man on the street with Dairon. Like we could go with Dairon to a con. So I'm not into none of that.
No, but I think I did once. I went, I just didn't remember because it was my sister who wanted to go. My little sister, because the guy was there, the guy from the American Horror Story. Evan Peters? Is that the name? Whatever.
I don't know why when you said American, I thought you were going to say American Gladiators.
So did I. And I was like, your sister was into the Gladiators?
No.
I don't know why.
Because you're younger than us. And
No.
she's a younger sister.
No, one
so
of my sisters is way younger than me, and she was into that. Evan Peters, I think.
Yeah, Evan Peters.
Evan Peters.
From Horror Story. Yeah, from American Horror Story.
Yeah, un sanaco ahí.
Yeah.
He's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
I don't remember what he
played
did.
Quicksilver.
The guy was in Tampa, and I rented a car, and I took her ass to see that guy in Tampa, and he was part of that. Of one of those Comic Cons.
At a con,
or whatever. It was at Tampa Convention Center or whatever the fuck. And I went in there. I mean, it's not my thing.
I feel so out of my element because it's not my thing either. But I sort of like to watch from the inside, from the outside looking in. Like, for example, the one time we went, I think it was the one before COVID, that Rocky picture,
Rocky Horror Show.
Have you seen the thing with that movie?
Rocky Horror Picture Show. Have you ever?
I don't understand that movie.
But you know what we're talking
You know what movie that is? It's that movie.
He's never even heard of it. Okay. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
No, bro.
Es una mierda esa película. It's with
I?
Susan Sarandon.
It's from like the 70s.
It's with Susan Sarandon. Who else?
Susan Sarandon, Tim Curry.
Wait. You talking about the guy with the face, with the formed face?
No, that's Mask with Cher.
No, it's a guy named Rocky.
Yes, his name is Rocky, but the movie's called Mask.
El que está deformado.
Bro,
that was not a musical. Although now I want to watch Eric Roberts in that mask.
Wait, that was Eric Roberts?
Yeah.
Julia's brother?
Yeah. Was it Eric Roberts or Eric Stoltz? It was one of the Erics. I don't remember which one.
Okay. So
that you guys are talking about?
That Rocky Horror Picture Show ice cream thing.
That would be an awful flavor, by the way.
Cuando la gente empiezan a ver esa cosa, they start performing it. And
Okay,
there's a part.
you know what? He's telling it wrong.
There's a part que se encueran. There's a part que se encueran, and I was like, mira estos fenómenos encuerándose
At the
convention center. They started taking off their shirts. Se quedan en calzoncillo.
Oh, okay.
And
I was like, I'm gonna let him finish.
I was like, mira estos fenómenos. So you know what I did? I just got in the commotion. I started running with them.
Like a
fully
flash
clothed,
mob?
fully
Fully
clothed.
dressed.
So
And
like
I was
a flash
recording
mob?
it. Like,
Okay, so here's the thing.
I don't get it.
So
I don't
here's
get
the
it.
thing. Rocky Horror Picture Show. Rocky Horror Picture Show is a musical from like the 70s. It was a stage play, then they turned it into a movie, whatever. It's a cult movie. So people who
It's
love
not
it,
about cults, though.
Right, not about cult. People who love it, love it. It was not successful. It was a bomb when it came out. And what happened is they started doing midnight showings. So this movie would only screen at midnight in like second run theaters. And it turned into like a thing where people would dress up and they scream at the screen during certain things or whatever. So that's what they were doing at this con. And they had one of the original stars there. And so they did the whole thing. But apparently there is a part where when Rocky, the monster, comes out of his chamber or whatever, and he's wearing little short shorts, for some reason the thing is to like take off in your underwear and just start running around the area.
This is
So imagine me
I
there.
feel like I'm an alien.
Imagine-
and I just landed
exactly.
on-
Well,
I've
that's-
never heard of this.
I'm completely out of
Why
my
haven't I
element.
heard
At
of
least
this?
you had heard of it. He's never even heard of it.
I
Where
didn't know
was
about the,
I?
I know about the naked part.
I didn't know about the naked part.
I didn't know
either.
about the naked
I didn't know
part.
about the naked
So
part.
we actually were at the convention because we
In all
actually
fairness, I feel like if anybody, I would have known about the naked part. I didn't.
Yeah, you gave the best explanation
Yeah,
of this thing.
we got invited actually because of the podcast. We had press passes, so we
Yeah.
went and we covered it, and now we took in everything they had there, and again, I don't really know what they do with that movie. Y la gente se empiezan a encuerar, and I'm like, pero what is this? And then it's these special people, like bien especiales.
It's people who go to Comic-Con.
I know exactly.
And I'm
Which
like,
means you run the gamut of body
Yeah.
types.
right. And I'm like, well, first of all, great for their confidence.
Yes.
But I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So I was like, well, if I'm not going to join them,
Can't beat them, join them.
yeah, can be them join them. I mean, I'm not taking my clothes off.
You got in it?
Oh, I got in the whole mob.
Fully
I just
dressed.
Fully dressed.
Fully dressed.
Con
Okay,
el
all right,
teléfono.
all right.
Con el teléfono. I'm like, I'm
Sarah
documenting
and I were
this.
standing next to a friend of ours while we were talking, and we're like, and she was like, "Oh my god, I've never seen this actually happen. I had heard about it, blah, blah." And all of a sudden, I look and I see this one running. He's like, like running behind them.
But I'm like, people are not going to believe me when I tell them this
Yeah. Oh my
story.
God.
So I'm documenting it.
So because it's a cult movie, so only if you're part of that.
I mean, it's a cult movie. Maybe now it's a little bit broader. More people know
Yeah,
about
never
it,
heard of
but yeah.
Should I watch it? Is it worth my time?
Here's the thing.
A person
here's
who's
what
who has very limited time.
Here's what I will say. Here's what I will say. It is not a good movie. If you don't like musicals, don't watch it because it is a musical.
Okay.
But here's what I will say. If you are going to experience it, I would say experience it at a showing where there's a crowd that's yelling and doing the whole spiel, because at least then you there's something there to entertain you.
Is
I
it
would
as
say.
is it as good
Oh, it's not good.
as the ending of Game of Thrones?
Well,
I also notoriously- I like bad movies, so-
At least I think Rocky Picture Horror Show, you know what you're in.
Okay.
You know
Right.
what you're taking.
Yeah.
So it's not disappointing.
Okay.
Whereas Game of Thrones is disappointing.
Is the despair like in the Dark Knight Rises?
Okay.
You could only have true despair when you have hope. I had a lot of hope for Game of Thrones, and then it just let me down.
We all did.
That was
We all did.
That ending was like, ¿Qué cosa es esto? What happened? It's like they just gave up. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's just-
Tanta cosa,
Actually,
8 years.
that's a good way to-
8 years,
to put it.
the
Yeah.
ice walkers or the whatever are coming.
Oh my God, the
they're
buildup.
coming. They're coming. And then
The
they came
buildup.
and went in the same episode.
It's the biggest build-up, giving you little tidbits of the zombies.
Yeah.
Acá with the blue eyes, the White Walkers. Y esta diva building her army goes to no sé qué, grabs these soldiers, goes to over here, grabs these soldiers. It's just this build-up of this army. Oh, she's gonna take King's Landing. Esta diva se va a hacer ahí, la papayúa. And then you're like, oh, and then she just snapped because of some fucking dick. Like,
That was it. Junior,
I
did you
said it,
watch
you
Game
know
of
what it
Thrones? No? Save yourself the misery.
No, I watched like 4 episodes, and I saw the Starbucks Cup one too last season.
Oh, so you saw like But wait, you saw 4 episodes of the first season?
No,
or-
total.
Total. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't. You're setting yourself up for
Because if
failure.
you start it, you will fall in love with it, and then it's gonna let you down.
So, what is the weirdest drug
so
that they've
many
asked you for at
relationships.
your job? Un viejo de esto que venga.
There was no way to transition from that. Was there?
I was about to say that.
It was just like, so Game of Thrones. So
He
drugs.
just
We're on-
Because you know what?
So we're in our archipelago,
Right.
and then he just
and
there
what-
was no ferry,
what would-
there was
I
no
mean,
bridge.
He might as well have asked, like, what would you have given me to help me get over the ending of Game of Thrones?
I think that's,
right?
I think
Like,
that's
yes, yeah.
in his mind.
No, yeah,
He's
that's what I was
just in
building
his
it.
mind. He's like, I need something to get over the Game of Thrones ending.
Right,
So
what do you
I
got?
what's the weirdest drug? So they ask for things that they're prescribed.
Oxycontin or
There's
whatever.
no, it's not weird because they're prescribed it. It's on the formulary or on the fucking, whatever, the FDA thing. There's been weird things that happen there.
Okay.
Yeah. What? Yeah. I mean, one
And go.
time, this lady goes in front of everybody. Tengo una cosa aquí abajo de la teta. Mira a ver qué tú tienes para esto. And she just lifted up. La teta bajó. She lifted up la teta.
At your local pharmacy.
Ahí con todo el mundo mirando así, like, nobody gets involved because you don't know she's crazy, you know?
Right.
I'm like, I don't know, man.
Wait. So she felt that the appropriate thing to do was to
In
just
front of everybody.
but okay, here's my second
It was
question.
the Rocky movie
But-
show. It was the Rocky.
She was on her way to a
It was
Rocky
the no
Horror
sé qué pinga
screening.
Rocky, whatever it's called, Rocky 5, whatever.
Rocky Road ice cream picture show.
Rocky and Bullwinkle. It was the Rocky and Bullwinkle 70s movie
We're going to
with the
Taco Bell.
deformed kid named Rocky.
with and Cher. And so okay, wait a minute.
Wait, Cher's not in that movie.
Cher plays his mother.
In the Rocky Picture Horror
No, in
Show?
Mask.
I was like, I don't like that movie, but I was like, I know Cher's not in that movie.
Cher's pretty noticeable. Yeah. Like,
Cher is the I can't say that name, so I'm not gonna say it because I'm Cuban. I speak English, but I have the Cuban accent. I can't say that name, so I'm not gonna say it because it sounds like
what name? What was it?
the lady that's the mother of the kid, the deformed kid.
Oh.
It never comes out right, bro. Cher.
Cher.
Chair.
Okay,
It never comes out right.
Okay, but how would you say
okay,
I'm going to
okay.
share this with you?
Share.
Then say that.
But that's share. S-H.
No, I think you
Yeah,
say,
but the pronunciation
Cher,
is
the singer,
Cher.
or if you're thinking of saying chair,
Chair.
pero como batzero, share.
Pero, okay, so this is
That's like you know how like un batzero says.
remember, guys.
the-
I went to Esol. I came from
Esol.
Cuba, so me pasaron Esol
But you
1,
know
Esol
what
2, Esol
though?
3.
But you know what though? I came from Cuba too. I was a year and a half. My first language was English, Spanish. Yo cuando I started elementary school, I didn't know English. Y a mí no me mandaron a ESOL.
No?
No.
Wow, you went to the white school.
I did go to the white
You know
school.
why?
Yeah.
Because you were destined to be a lawyer.
That's right.
So they're
Can't
like,
have
this
that
guy
on
doesn't
record.
Lo
need
derecho.
No.
remedial language. Nah, they put me in ISO 1, ISO 2, ISO 3, ISO 4. I think ISO 4 is the I don't remember. I think
Is
that's the
there
last one.
remedial ESOL?
That's
Is that a class at Miami-Dade?
that's Balserismo.
Because you know what I love?
Balserismo
You know what I love?
101.
How the ones they don't, like, especially women, they don't say beach. They say bish.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
I went to the beach.
So listen, in ISO, it's good because I'm excellent at spelling. I can spell wonderfully. The best speller ever.
La regla
Because
de
I can
ortografía.
spell really good, really well, because I was taught English as a second language. In ISO, they teach you like the spelling,
Okay.
the grammar part of English.
Right.
But the pronunciation, like beach, okay.
Beach.
Pero-
Beach.
Chair. They say CH, chair. SH is
So that's ingrained in your head.
So I don't get it. That name to me is chair. So why is it
La cantante.
La cantante chair? So why do you guys say share?
Cher.
Share?
Well, not how we
Cher.
say it, how she says it. I mean, like, I'm just
Share?
following suit.
Share?
There's things that I can't
Because her
spell.
name is,
Ay,
her
ay,
name is,
una
her,
pinga.
her name is because her name is actually Cheryl. Her name is actually Sherilyn.
Sherilyn.
Sherilyn. So
Alabao.
that's yeah.
I can't say that name. The mother of
The mother of Rocky and Mask.
the mother of the deformed kid in math.
So you're good at spelling?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't spell calendar.
But when you speak
Calendar's a hard one.
calendar.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Calendar. That's
Yeah.
how I do it. I do it in Spanish because Spanish is just how. When you sound out things in Spanish, it's just how they're written.
Yeah.
So when Spanish is your first language, it helps to learn English grammar because when I'm stuck, I do that, bro. I go calendar in my head.
Calendar.
English
That's
is
a good
weird,
one.
bro. English.
I just think Spanish has greater words. Like portarretrato. Is that a great word? In Spanish, it's frame.
I think the root.
In English, it's frame. In Spanish, it's portarretrato. In English, typewriter. In Spanish, máquina de escribir, maquinografiar.
Wow. You see, yeah. I think Spanish is just very like intense. They're very dramatic about everything.
Yeah, but no other language has ing.
No.
Ieye. Those are great little words.
Yeah.
Letters.
Just like
Without the A, I wouldn't have a last name.
You'll be ano. You'll be ano.
yeah. I think the root of the world.
The root of the. Are you trying to say the roots of the word? La raíz de la palabra.
Archipelago.
That is better. Raíz.
The root of the word archipelago.
No, dude. We have to say archipelago.
I think the root. I think the origin of the word archipelago is archipelago. That's this.
You sound like one of these people on the spelling bee. What is the root of the word? Where does the word originate?
Use it in a sentence.
Use it in a sentence.
We live in an archipelago.
I travel to an archipelago.
Miami Beach is an archipelago.
Maybe we should
my
have Ria
God.
Aguirre on the show to talk to us about
archipelagos.
archipelagos. And I'm sure Andrew Otazo knows about
I'm
archipelagos.
sweating.
We should have a whole archipelago episode.
Yeah, biology. Well, no, because they know about oceanography.
Oceanography, that's what I'm saying. We should have an all
marine
archipelago
biology.
episode.
But you don't know about oceanography.
You don't know.
You know topography.
I know topography, yes, but I
It's
do.
the other ography.
But I do like saltwater because I like to go to the beach. I was just in the beach this weekend.
I haven't been in
Y yo me tiro del barco y
haven't been
todo.
in 3
Yo me tiro del barco and open in 3. You're Cuban living in Florida. That's in your DNA.
Brother, I came. You know that I came in the water. Whoa! Let me rephrase that.
3 years ago?
I just want to
Wait,
say
let
that.
me rephrase-
Pero let me tell you, this is not mature for
No, we don't have
Let
a
me-
warning.
general.
I didn't meant to say I came in the water.
But you just said you did again.
Now it's twice.
That's
Twice
not.
in the water?
I came. I came in the water.
So tú viniste en un barco de Cuba.
I did.
Tú viniste por Guantánamo.
So I came on the water.
You arrived.
I came by water.
You came
by
water.
sea,
There
by
you go.
land.
There you go.
Pero
I did a power
tú
review.
viniste por Guantánamo.
No. We just fucking left.
Oh.
No.
One day they were like, what are we doing today?
So
Like,
true story. Not a lot of people know this true story. I'm gonna share this here with you guys. Not a lot of people know it. My uncle, it was 1993. That's when I left. But he started in 1992. He built a little wooden boat, 19-foot wooden boat. He built it. And 22-foot boat, 19 people. That's why I was getting the numbers. 19 of us got on the little boat.
22 feet?
Yeah, and we just left. Because it was unbearable. There was no food and
Right.
there was no advertising.
I know,
and
that's
stuff.
why.
93 era la época del
El periodo especial.
especial.
El comunismo, la pinga.
Yeah.
There was no advertising store. El Grama no tenía.
No advertising
tenía-
for a boat.
No tenía
Right.
nothing.
There was no Craigslist to buy a used
bro.
boat.
People saw the Soviet Union had just collapsed a few years back.
Right.
And that
So
was
you
the
just
main,
had a lot of bears.
Yeah.
Right.
All the bears.
All the bears were
that
there,
the Soviets brought.
But no food.
Now the Soviets left. So the bears roam free.
But you can't eat the bears because they're Soviet, so you might get in
couldn't
trouble.
eat them,
Right.
but they
Y no
were
tenían
roaming.
bueno sabor.
They were roaming
Eran
free.
soviéticos.
Tenían alcohol de oso.
Eran rusos y nada ruso
One
bueno.
time we got on a bus and the bear was driving it. So
Yeah.
that bus had peta timón de guagua plus con de oso.
Y el oso se llamaba Vladimir.
Vladimir Cher. Wagobi.
Iban en la guagua spelled with a G.
It was a Wagobi.
Now I really want to go have some steak.
It was a Wagobi steak bear con pesta cojón de oso. El timón de la guagua también was very smelly that day.
This looks like one of those assignments that you do in school.
This is the worst group project. This is like
We're all gonna fail.
disorganized group project. So it was periodo especial. The Soviets had left. There was, that was the main lifeline to Cuba. There was no food. There was nothing. Yeah, the desperation was really bad. I had just turned 7, so they had taken away the milk ration because we were rationed food. At 7, they take away your milk ration. And all we would get was like a little piece of bread per family member. Mm-hmm. My grandfather had died, so they took away that little piece of fucking... It's like a potato roll. The Hawaiian potato rolls, it was like that. But nah, it wasn't...
King's Hawaiian.
No. It wasn't King's Hawaiian.
It didn't have that
Mira,
sweet
no.
taste.
It was like... No. Era una piedra. Era una piedra... Not cojón de oso, but era una piedra. And the desperation was so bad that my family was like, that's it, we need to go. It was death, or that's when you're like, we stay here, we're going to die anyway. So we go, we risk death.
Right.
Coming in the ocean, but you risk it. And that's when we left. But we were supposed to leave in June when the weather was better, but they announced that they were taking out like the ration of oil or whatever the hell. I don't remember. I was 7. And we have to leave in February where the weather is really bad.
Oh, wow.
So actually it's going to be February 22nd, 93.
32
I'm
years.
not good at
32
math.
years.
32 years. And we just left. And then the current took us off to the Atlantic. So we were lost in the Atlantic.
Did you end up in an archipelago?
We ended up in a
The Bahamas is an archipelago too.
Yes, I was hoping for archipelago. We went to peninsula, archipelago, isthmus, all of it, whatever the fuck. But we were drifted out into the Atlantic for like 2 days. We had ran out of oil.
So where did you end up?
So we ran out of the fuel, water, food, everything. 19 people. 7 of them were kids. The oldest was me, 7. And then it was like 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds. Yeah, bro. That's where now when I have an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old, you think about how desperate you have to be that you'll risk. Fuck, these kids of mine might die, but if I stay here, either they'll die, or when they turn 18, Fidel is gonna put them into
La Escuela
Campo and military service and send them to Angola, because what Fidel would do, the communists, they would trade people for un saco azúcar or un saco de whatever. Un saco de papa de Angola y dale para allá.
Yeah.
So it's human trafficking. What those people would do.
They essentially.
It's basically slavery.
It's human trafficking.
It's slavery.
Yeah.
It's modern day.
You know
slavery.
that I have to. I don't know if you've seen it in your content. These people that are like influencers in Cuba, they're like, "Oh, Cuba's full of fresh organic food."
Yeah,
and I'm like, you know what? You can't even respond.
You know
to
what?
That.
That's now. When I was in Cuba, if you were caught with a US dollar, you would go to prison for 20 years. Now, tú le puedes mandar dólares a tu familia, comida, recargarle el teléfono so they can be on FaceTime all fucking day while they're here at Walmart. Oye, que te compro, mira lo que hay aquí. All of that didn't exist. You couldn't call anybody. You couldn't have a US dollar. There was no paquetes. There was no nothing.
See, no.
It was everybody. It was apocalyptic land. So that's why the family decided we're just going to ride out.
So wait, so where did you end up?
So a ship picked us up.
Oh.
A Pakistani oil ship.
Oh.
Pakistani, what is it called? Oil tanker. Was on the way.
What did they doing in the Caribbean?
They were on the way to Mexico to deliver oil or fuel.
Speaking of Pakistan,
Panama
have
Canal.
you seen the lady who's in Pakistan?
No.
You guys haven't heard this story? It went viral.
You're gonna have to give me a little bit more than the lady in Pakistan.
So this
The
week,
lady in Pakistan.
I'm sure there's more than one.
So this week
And we're jumping.
this week in viral, there's this lady who she's like in her, I don't know, her 40s. She has several kids. She met some kid in Pakistan who's 19, and she went to meet up with him in Pakistan. And when she gets there,
I'm sorry. She's Sorry,
She's American.
She's American.
She's
She has
American.
17 kids. What is it?
She has kids. She has kids. She was doing. She had a relationship where she was talking to somebody online.
Oh, okay. So like, and then she flew over there.
And then she flew over. She knew he was 19.
Oh, okay.
Right. And when she gets to Pakistan, the kid's family's like, yeah, no, like you're not marrying our kid. Like you're not gonna be our kid's girlfriend, whatever. So she didn't have where to go. So there's more to the story, but I'm like being very, very like
concise.
yeah. So she's gone viral because she started posting videos of like, yeah, the Pakistani government needs to give me $100,000. So because I need to live here or go home, or if not, you need to give me a Pakistani residency or citizenship, whatever. She's making these demands. Now, the funny thing is that when you see this video, I'm like, are you asking for ransom for yourself? Like that's what it feels like.
Why
holding
doesn't
up
she
her
just
own
fucking
newspaper.
leave? Just leave.
I think she can't.
That's that American entitlement. Like, oh,
Wait,
aquí me tiene que dar dinero.
espérate. She went over there to meet somebody she had never met, and she didn't think to book a round trip.
No, she thought she was gonna fall in love with the
Oh my God, que come
Pakistani kid.
pinga.
No, vaya.
Oh, you guys gotta check this out.
No, I'm gonna now.
Yeah, no, I'm going
yeah.
right after I do the Rocky Cher,
Right, yes.
The Rocky-
Do it at the same time.
the Rocky horror story, Rocky 5, whatever it's called. I need to see that. So the Pakistani ship picked us up, saw us there in the middle of the ocean. I was on the way to Mexico, so we were on that for 3 days. So 19 Cubans with Pakistanis. Nobody spoke any language that could be like there was no
Un
cross.
barco lleno de petróleo.
An archipelago of languages.
Yeah.
There was no bridges, no ferries. Yeah. But it was
And it
different
went to
times.
Mexico.
It was a
So
different
you
time.
didn't cross the isthmus that is Panama Canal.
No. But different times. 93, different times with immigration laws. So they just stopped. Coast Guard from Texas came down, picked us up from the ship, put us in. There was no wet foot, dry foot, none of that. And then from there we made it to Miami, where the party's at.
Yeah.
What do you remember from being on that ship?
Throwing up a lot.
Really?
Yeah. I remember that. It was throwing up a lot because the little wooden boat had a, what's it
Ay,
called?
barquito.
What's the front of
The bow.
The bow.
okay, it's whole, the wrong
Hole, so hole is the part that goes in the water. Anything above the water is a superstructure, and the front is a bow.
Okay, you don't topography and
And ocean liners.
no botography. Botography and topography. So the front had like a little
The bow is where I'll say Jack and Diane, where Jack and Rose are at. Can you imagine if they redid them? Jack and Diane. Jack and Diane. Literally, Jack
What
and
is John Cougar doing
Diane.
right now?
there's like a little cover, like a little whatever the fuck you call it. Y ahí metieron todos los niños to be covered. But that's the part that moves the most.
Yeah,
when
the
it
front.
bounces
Yeah, 'cause
on
you're
the
in the
water.
front, yeah.
So I just remember throwing up a lot.
And how
I
about when
still
you
have
were
the
on the-
outfit, dude.
Yeah.
I still have it.
Yeah, that's like my mom has the outfit that I have when we
have
came
it
from
at
Cuba
home,
too. Eso no se
Yeah,
bota.
it's a little blue and black sweater with this little pair of jeans. Like, I have it. My mom lo guardó, and then I have it guardado.
So now, whenever your kids, especially when your kids are older and they start being all entitled, you'll be like, "Oye,
Yeah.
yo estuve en un barco que por poco me muero por 7 días."
So then I'm gonna
My
be,
mother tells me that.
I'm gonna go to how they tell us
Yep.
that their life was rough. Yo goté caña por 10 años, 10 horas al día. I'll be like, oh, tú sabes que yo estuve en un barco y por poco me muero.
Yeah.
It's like that. And it's a circle
It's
of life.
generational trauma.
Yeah. And then you just keep,
So they're gonna have to go to that therapist that we talked about at the beginning.
you see, we circle back
100%.
and we're back to it. Yeah,
Oh
man.
my god.
Y después le ponen el pomo a la tapa y ya.
No, la tapa pomo.
La tapa el pomo, la tapa el pomo.
You did
El
it
pomo a la
backwards.
tapa.
La tapa de la jeringuilla, bro.
La tapa de la
La tapa de la
jeringuilla.
jeringuilla.
La
Dios
tapa de la
siempre
jeringuilla.
has una jeringuilla tapa.
That's another great word in Spanish. Un pomo. Pomo. Dame un pomo.
There's a bunch of fucking
That's so great.
No, what's
trastes,
un
pomo,
traste, cazuela
cazuela.
is a good one.
Tareco.
Tareco.
My mom used the other day. El tareco.
Tareco is such a great
El
word.
tareco. Tareco. What the fuck?
Tareco. I remember my mom used to say that. ¿Ustedes no se acuerdan de la tienda La Tijera en la 16 Primera?
Wait, what? Is that a Bad Bunny song?
You guys didn't know? No, dude, seriously.
Is
You
that
can-
a
you can-
Bebecito?
you can-
Is that the next song?
You came in 93, so I'll give you a little
Okay.
whatever. La Tijera en la 16 Primera was this store La 16 primera. Okay,
La
listeners.
tijera. El what? La 16, la primera.
And la idea árbol.
That's a
y
gente de
tú no te
zona.
acuerdas.
That's
espérate,
gente de zona.
espérate.
That's a gente de
¿Tú no
zona.
te acuerdas la idea?
Yes.
En flagro entre 11 y 12.
Yeah. Pero la tijera entre la...
Ella dice, y primera, my mom would always say, ahí venden muchos tarecos. Like, because it was like a sort of general goods
A random
store.
store. Yeah, random store.
It was like a
Those are the
revoltosa.
best. We did go to Los Chinos a lot.
Los
Chinos.
chinos. Wait, what was Los Chino?
Los Chinos. I remember my mom was like, vamos para Los
We just
Chinos.
called that Los Chino restaurant.
No,
Like,
no.
vamos a ir a un
Los
restaurante
Chinos were
chino.
these warehouses. I don't know if they're there.
The Chinos was like in the warehouse areas. Yeah.
Y era mueblería, like
Yeah.
Chinese. I don't know why Cubans in the 90s decided to adorn a word?
Adorn?
That's a word.
Adorn
Yes,
their
yes.
house?
Adornar la casa.
Adorn,
I did
decorate. It's a word, yeah.
I did an Esau
Adorn.
adorn their houses with Chinese. My mom had Chinese.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. With the
Yes,
Chinese.
after rattan, it was Asian.
the geisha thing, con
Uh-huh.
the ivory,
Yeah.
you know.
Look at
husk.
Junior over there nodding his head.
The
He knows
varnish.
exactly.
It was the room that you couldn't sit in.
Claro.
Estaba el family.
Claro.
El
La
family era
sala.
para sentarse
La
con el
sala.
televisor grande de cajón.
Right.
With you have to roll out to do AV in, AV
Uh-huh.
out. You know, all that shit. Y había un cuarto that you couldn't sit
Mira,
in.
la sala, in my house, cuando hicimos en Florida, it's not the family room, you call it Florida.
Florida.
Cuando hicimos en Florida, que lo terminamos, ya, you know, that's where we watch TV. When they finished it, entonces my parents went to El Dorado and bought a really nice furniture set, que that we could only touch during Christmas. Like, porque ahí poníamos el arbolito. Entonces, para las climas sí podíamos sentarnos ahí y abrir
Para
los
la
regalos.
foto.
Para la
Same shit. Para
foto
same shit
y para el video y todo eso. Pero en la sala no se sentaba.
Yeah.
To this day, I still feel weird
sitting.
sitting on those at your house, at your
Yeah.
parents' house.
Yeah, although they do now.
Yeah,
My
they do
mom
now,
had-
but it's
yeah.
like, oh, we're allowed.
My mom had Chinese couches, a Chinese table, un Buddha.
Un Buda,
Un Buda.
sí.
Un Buddha ahí with the chains and
Yep.
everything, the necklaces. And I'm like, you're not Buddhist.
Yeah.
You're not Chinese. You have no connection to the Asian theology.
Bueno, pero en Cuba había un
there's a
Chinatown.
Chinatown, that's right.
Había un
Pero mi
Chinatown.
mamá no tenía que ver con eso. We live in fucking Bahía, en Habana del Este. Like,
Ah, ¿tú eres de La Habana?
de La Habana
¿De qué,
del Este,
¿de qué
brother.
piso?
El tercero.
Ah, ok.
La Habana del Este, reparte ahí el tercer piso.
Ustedes nunca iban a la quincalla.
I know what that is.
That's
I
like
just-
it's Chinatown.
la
bullshit,
Quinca-
yeah.
I just never. I don't remember going into it because I left when I was a kid.
I feel
so-
everybody from Havana is like, yo soy de Vedao. I'm not even
Whoa,
sure what
that
that
was the Coral Gables.
That was the
of
core of
Havana.
Havana.
El Vedado era Doral. Well, now
No.
the Doral. Now
My mom
the Coral
always
Gables.
says, nosotros éramos Carlos Roja culo del mundo. Like, that's what literally she calls it.
So my grandma and my dad's house were in Toledo, which is un reparto de Marianao, which is like Hialeah. Can you imagine being the Hialeah of Havana?
Oh my gosh.
That's like putting a hat on a hat.
What? Yeah.
Did they even walk vertical? Like,
They had dragons and shit.
they
yeah.
had Cuban bears.
Yeah, bro,
Cuban,
they had
Russian bears.
Cuban Russian bears.
The bears would ride on the buses. It was siempre La Cujay. La Cujay was a famous university of engineering, like saying FIU.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, tú vives al lado de FIU. Sí, yo vivo al lado de La Cujay. To give you a perspective. Okay. Y my grandma lived by there. Pero eso era Toledo, which is right by Marinao. So it's like Hialeah, but like Hialeah de West Hialeah. Hialeah Gardens.
Oh, okay. It's a little nicer. A little
okay.
nicer. a
Not
little
Miami
nicer.
Lakes.
No, not at least.
Miami
At
Lakes.
least.
Miami Lakes is like saying almost Vedal. They want to be Coral Gables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Miami Lakes is nice.
Miami Lakes is nice, but you're between.
But I understand sometimes
they're
they get
trying.
upset that they, are shuffled with Hialeah and East Hialeah and all that. And, it's funny because my office was in Hialeah for many years. And I didn't really know much about Hialeah until I started working in Hialeah. So I became very familiar with it, like almost like if I grew up there. And then I discovered why they talked about East Hialeah the way they did. I was like,
yeah.
this is rough.
That's where you'll see like chickens being handcuffed. Like, you'll cross over Palm Avenue. Y
Palm
de pronto,
Avenue.
There'll be a chicken being handcuffed, and you're like, what the
It knows what it
fuck?
did.
Yeah.
So you have Chipotle and Starbucks. If you go on 49th,
Yeah.
you have literally Chipotle and Starbucks, like West Hialeah. It's almost like oh my god, right? And then you go over and it's like Junkyard, Repo. It's
Wow.
because then
Yeah.
you keep going a little bit. East Hialeah
el rastro
borders-
La Victoria.
Yeah.
¿Tú has
Wait.
un rastro una vez?
No.
El rastro, yeah,
No,
el
you know,
rastro.
knock wood that I never do.
Los rastros. I had a used car back then que era fully built, rebuilt from los
From
rastros.
rastro. Tú ibas a
Yeah.
That was great. I love
was
going to
great.
rastro. I would take off the nameplates.
Yeah.
For a while, I had a lot of Fords. Like, you know, I would just take off the nameplates.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is recorded, so I'm not gonna say like what we would do a los rastros, but yeah, it was.
There's a statute of limitations to that.
oh,
This is in your childhood. You're fine.
we have a derecho here.
Wait, is that
we have a
okay?
lawyer.
Yo soy
el
el
derecho.
We're,
Yo soy el
we're
derecho.
representing here. He's part of it.
I don't need to be Ana Maria, la doctora Polo. You know, it's funny that like when I lived downtown, I would take to go to Hialeah to my office. I would take Okeechobee, and when I was driving there, I would always be like, "What is this old drawbridge?" Like, I was like very curious about the old drawbridge.
The one to Miami Springs.
So one day, I'm like, today is the day I'm going to cross over that old drawbridge. And I cross over and I'm like, what is this magical land? And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is Miami Springs. Have you been to Miami
It's
Springs?
crazy.
Well, yeah, I was recently there for a funeral.
It
It's crazy how I don't know how they managed to pull that off, but you have golf courses, people walking.
it's like its own little.
Bro, I feel like, have you ever seen the Truman Show? Where
Yes.
it's like a city just built for him? Bro, Hialeah, Ohio, and then you cross over
And it's
you
like-
hear. But if you go too far,
Yes.
you hit the airport wall,
The airport.
the cargo side of the airport.
Yes.
Donde entra UPS and FedEx, and there's a fucking jail.
yeah.
Like TGK is right there.
Miami Springs, if you look at it on the map, it's literally a wedge.
Like a little triangle.
Yeah, it's a triangle.
Pero, brother, what a wedge. Because you have gallos being handcuffed, the airport cargo, jails, y aquí barrio de Vaya.
And they're literally measuring your grass to see how high it is.
Wow.
Yeah. And then across the canal, they have, guys getting arrested.
Wow. I feel like Miami Springs is like an HOA that just came in and said, aquí.
That finally just went too far.
And
Like, it
HOA just said,
yeah.
vamos meternos aquí. It's rough, man.
You know what's great in Hialeah? Mango Heat.
Oh, yeah.
Lucy Lopez
That's right.
from Mango Heat.
Yeah, Mango Heat.
Wait, you're not from Hialeah?
I lived in Hialeah when I got here. And then
He migrated.
you either move up or you move down. Most people move down.
A lot of people don't leave Hialeah.
It's actually great to be. You get everything you need there. But we moved to Flagler, then we went to Westchester, and now we're like we call it Kendall, but it's not Kendall.
What is it?
It's the wedge between. It's the archipelago, the isthmus,
It's the isthmus between
Kendall and Westchester, Olympia Heights.
Olympia.
yeah.
Pero eso está
That's
ahí
what-
mismo.
that's
Bro,
what-
I live by you.
Yeah,
I live
eso
right
está
there.
encima.
I grew up in that area.
Yeah,
Yo
está
vivo
ahí mismo.
ahí next to Total Wine.
Yeah.
Sí, sí. Wait, that whole area is called. Yeah, that area is called
Olympia Heights or Lake, no sé qué pinga.
No, it's Olympia
Where
Heights.
my parents
Westwood
live,
Lakes.
Westwood Lakes. That's
So
where my parents live.
I don't even live anywhere. I just
You just hover.
so I'm not part of Westwood Lake because that's after Miller. I live before Miller.
He's in an unincorporated archipelago.
Yeah.
¿Dónde
man.
vive? No le recogen la basura.
No, I gotta take it to the corner. No, but we don't even have the what's that shit called? The drenaje. This is
the wait, what are they called?
It's crazy
does it
how
have a sewer?
sometimes
The gutters.
Does
The gutters.
this happen to you guys that you can't think fast enough in the language that you speak?
Oh, yeah.
then
And
you
sometimes
just-
in neither of them.
La tapa. Well, te pasó con la jeringuilla. La jeringuilla, la tapa. How hard is it to say syringe, bro?
Apparently very.
Jeringuilla. Syringe. 2 syllables.
Listen, we had
Needle.
we had
a needle.
Needle.
we had
Needle.
no
Hey,
seriously seriously we had it was last year, right? We had another doctor on the show who is a doctor in linguistics that he did
yes.
a whole
For FIU.
for FIU he did a whole like research and he studied, and I think it was part of his dissertation or what he defended. But anyway, he did a significant study on the dialect down here, and he
concluded it's a
Miami
language.
Spanglish is like a dialect.
Like,
and
well,
it very much is.
It's not even Spanglish.
It very
It's
much
a
is.
language.
I went to
It's-
school.
yeah.
I went to school in Michigan, and those people didn't know what to do with me. They didn't know where to place me.
Yeah, man.
And then I remember they'd be like, "Oh, your accent." I'm like, "I don't have an accent. What
No,
are you
we do.
talking about?"
We do.
And I'm like, "I have an accent." And
Yeah,
I'm like,
we do.
"We do."
We don't realize it until we leave. But here, we'll mix Spanish with English. I'll start a sentence in English. Le meto el español in the middle, then I finish with English. It's like crazy, bro. And you have to think about how advanced our brains. A bilingual brain is way, I don't want to say smarter, but it's more capable.
It
than
works
the-
on a whole different level.
Because to fucking receive different languages y procesar, it's crazy when I watch like
And it's a coherent thought that comes out. That's
like
the thing.
you ever see like Casa Papel, like Money Heist, right? Like a show that was made in a Spanish-speaking country, and the subtitles are in English. So I'll watch Casa de Papel in Spanish language, but the subtitles are in English, and it's just like cojones. Que yo estoy formando en mi cabeza. I'm listening, but your brain is processing, man.
So I studied French for 5 years, and I became pretty fluent.
Oh, really?
And there was a point that I was mixing in French.
Coño.
That I'd be like, "Whoa!" Like
And-
I would say something like,
And people would understand you?
No, just me. Like, I'm gonna go avec mis amigos here, and I'm like, did I just say avec, which is with in French? And it was like, wow, it's crazy. But we code switch and back and forth between languages, and we don't
Yeah, we don't even realize it here.
No.
we don't even
until
think
you
it.
leave.
And then we invent words,
That's what we do. Tareco, trate, those are all invented words.
But all words are invented at some point. That's how language evolves.
That's how, archipelago was once.
It was once.
It was once not a word.
It didn't exist at
They
one
just
point.
said,
yeah.
"Mira, ese grupo de isla." ahí."
One has an arch, and there's many of them,
And the other one has pelagos.
There is
pelicans.
no,
Pelicans or
there is no
pelicans.
explanation how that became that word.
No, I think isthmus is a better word. We learned today that Cher was not in the Rocky Picture Horror Show.
No. We learned that in a pinch, archipelago can just be put into any conversation.
We learned about. We talked so much shit.
We talked about units of measurements,
Units of
right?
measurements.
Which, listen, especially so I love to cook, right? And I watch a lot of videos about, cooking. And Cuban videos, it's like un ting de esto,
Yeah.
un dedo del otro.
Yeah.
And that's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. Y cuando tú le preguntas a cualquier vieja de esta cubana o latina, they're like, no, un chorrito de esto.
chorrito.
That's another word. Great one, chorro.
Chorrito. But it's not the same as chorrito.
No.
Chorro and
no.
chorrito are two.
Totally different.
No, chorro hurts.
Chorro has like pressure behind it.
Chorro is if you're washing and you're putting fabuloso in a bucket.
Yeah.
Un chorro de fabuloso. Chorrito is aceite oliva on a recipe.
chorrito.
So you have to.
That is a great. Oh
Yes.
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, you
that
have
was
to.
good.
Un chorro,
Absolutely.
But only we know that.
Yeah.
You can't talk gringo.
How do you explain
Hey,
that?
you want to remake my ropa vieja? Échale un chorrito de no sé qué pinga.
You know what? That's
What's
perfect.
just Worcester sauce?
That's perfect. You know
Oh,
what?
no.
Let them figure
What's
it out.
that? How
Worcestershire
did that word?
sauce.
How did that word become? Westchester.
No, that's probably
Worcestershire
that was
sauce.
probably a sauce of some British.
It is. It is
British.
a
It's
British
British,
town.
Do you use it, by the way?
No.
Oh, it's magic. Tú
I
eso le
don't-
echas
I
una
don't-
gotica, no mucho.
Un
Okay,
chorrito o una gotica?
No,
Una gotica.
no, gotica.
Oh, okay,
Porque
that's very-
hasta un chorrito could be a lot. Porque it has a very potent.
Okay.
It has a very potent taste.
What is the ounces to milliliter conversion of chorrito to chorro?
Oh,
Es de para la pinga que tú hablas, chico.
listen, you're the one who knows about atomic weights.
Comunista.
Like,
I think a chorrito,
all I know is hydrogen is one.
a chorrito is like a dash.
What's your favorite element in the periodic table of elements?
I love our segues.
Well, he's a pharmacist. This guy probably like dreamt with the periodic.
No, I didn't. No. Let me tell you. I did chemistry, biochemistry, all that, organic chemistry.
I hear that that's one of the hardest classes
So
there is.
I had to do all of those because they're prereqs to get into the pharmacy, which I just did it to make money. I didn't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Nobody has a passion. If you told me like, I love going to work, you're a liar. Nobody loves going to work. Everybody would rather be on vacation.
Junior loves going to work.
Nobody loves going to work.
think
Depends-
Junior-
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
He gets to listen to us.
Especially when you work for someone else. Or
Like,
you work
exactly.
corporate.
Nobody, okay, but it's not your, I don't know. I'm not a passion guy. Oh, this is my passion. No, fuck that. My passion is being on vacation, making money, and not,
worrying about-
So I imagine you don't go to like Punta Cana or anything on vacation since you don't go to saltwater.
no, I don't do that. I
So
don't
you go to
do
like
that.
Aspen?
I don't do that. Yeah, man, I don't do that. I just did, I hated those classes. I just got through it. The periodic table, I don't care about elements. But I'll say, I don't know, nitrogen is the
is a
most
fun one.
abundant in our DNA, is the most abundant in our bodies, the most abundant in our atmosphere.
It's great how it freezes things and they show you.
Yeah.
Just to put a limb in there.
Yeah. I think nitrogen, but I don't care. I don't even know what.
That could be its own podcast.
I don't even know.
Element Talk with Dairon.
I don't even know what number it is. I want to say 7 or 5. Nitrogen is 7 or 5. I know oxygen is 8. Carbon is 4. Because of
I'm not going to call you out on
No,
it. I don't know.
yeah.
So
If we were talking about the Rocky Dennis movie.
then, yes, I would. Yes.
That was his name, Rocky
Rocky
Dennis.
Dennis. That was his name. Yes.
I know that from Family Guy. That's the only reason I know that.
That's
so
right.
I think that this summer you should definitely go on a beach vacation. Vete para Punta Cana.
Okay, but not in Miami because it's
No,
sargasso.
Punta Cana.
No.
Mira,
Vacation.
Because it's an archipelago.
That's right. You know
There's
what's
a lot
right.
of sargasso.
I went to Punta Cana a couple of years ago, and my parents were like, "Ay, we don't want to go," because the whole family went, and it's like we don't want to go because está lleno de balsero, que van
It
a
is.
comer nada más and all that.
It is.
You have to stay in like Amelia.
Okay.
Amelia está lleno de europeo.
But I do hear this from
Yes,
people.
but it all depends on the resort you're at.
But you know what I think it's great of the Cubans that go to Punta Cana? Okay, and I'm sure you have them in your family. I have them in mine.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Cubans that go to Punta Cana. So you would think that Punta Cana, which is so beautiful, and these resorts, you've never been.
I have.
Okay, so you know these resorts
ago.
are like, it's like a city. They're
Yeah.
incredible. Incredible.
You don't
these
have to
resorts.
leave there.
You don't have to leave. I think it's great that when they come back from Punta Cana, they're not telling you about like que linda estaba la playa y
The activities.
hicimos esto, fuimos a bucear, fuimos a nadar. No, it's always no, porque yo estaba ahí en la playa y me traen una langosta
Yeah.
ahí en la playa y te
It's
traen
not
un
like,
bistec.
look, I saw Notre Dame, then I saw the Louvre, the Mona Lisa. No. Me comí el primer día un churrasco arriba de una langosta
Yeah.
con camarones arriba de la
Yeah,
langosta.
bueno, to tell you,
And
to-
it's like, y me tomé no sé cuántas cervezas. That's not my type of vacation. Para ir a jactarme como un lechón and then have indigestion with Alka-Seltzer at night. Oh, like una garrapata. That's another great one.
that is a
garrapata.
I have somebody in my family, like everybody else does, that they go to Punta Cana every single
Nah,
year and they don't go anywhere else.
that's not for me.
So when I went to Punta Cana, I was like, I really want to go to Santo Domingo because Santo Domingo is like the most important historically city in like the whole Caribbean in Latin America. And I really wanted to go. And I remember she was like, ay, chico, tú sabes que ir a Santo Domingo. Yeah, and I'm like, have you been? And she's like, no, you know. I'm like, but you go to freaking
It's so
DR
hard to-
every year.
Pero se quedan en la playa.
They just go a comer.
So there's beaches here. So if you're going there, la diferencia es que por un precio te están dando
Yeah, it's the-
all you can stuff it.
and listen, I love me a buffet.
No,
So I'm
pero
not
no,
gonna-
bro. There's only so much a person can eat, and that's not my type of vacation. I like to learn. I love history. I love going to places to see where things happen. Like when I went to the Coliseum, I'm like, wow, bro. You know how much shit happened here,
Yeah.
and how much this molded and turned history, things like that. I love going to Europe. I love history. I'll go
Bastante
one
en la
time.
playa.
I'll go one time.
Well, I mean, everybody likes a nice getaway. You
Everybody,
know? Right, yeah.
everybody's free to do what they want, but
No,
to
no,
go
but-
to an
but-
archipelago,
Cualquiera disfruta un resort.
O te vas en un crucero.
that I like.
Yeah.
I like
They
cruises.
banned Bluetooth speakers from most cruises now, by the way. That was becoming a problem.
Porque ponen Bad Bunny
Porque Yanni
con la nueva
Lacey,
canción, la papa de la jeringuilla.
Yanni Lacey, Unaki
Yeah.
y Edgar estaban con un Bluetooth speaker
Ay.
inmenso en the Lido deck. you know.
While they're trying to play ding, 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 ding,
Right.
ding, ding.
Or well, I just don't want to hear your shitty music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we love Bad Bunny here. Let's not trash Bad Bunny.
I wasn't saying Bad Bunny. I'm just saying in general. Like I don't want to.
I like
hear
Bad
your-
Bunny.
I don't
I
want to
like
hear
how he
your
has
music,
evolved.
sir.
How when he started, it was like, ugh. When he started at first, remember? He was bald with all this weird shit and he would go, ugh. I was like, what's wrong with this guy?
Como?
You I was like, is this guy mentally challenged? Like, is he rocky?
He sounded like Tim Allen there.
No, he's definitely evolved as an artist.
What was the name of the Wilson, right? No.
Wilson? Yeah.
La
Yeah,
pelota en...
No.
well, yes, but el vecino.
The-
El vecino en Home
El
Improvement.
vecino
Yes.
de La Pelota de Castaway.
Yes.
I feel like we talked about Tom Hanks today.
We did. The
But it
pirata.
was in Captain Phillips, the pirates
Yes.
in Africa, because we were talking about the
pirates.
canal
I'm the
that
captain now.
is a isthmus.
It's an
Viste
isthmus.
how it all connects.
So-
Oh Lord.
Okay, well, we could go on for like another
Yeah,
3
I was gonna
hours.
say,
I
So
feel like,
we're-
I feel like at this point we have to make a mini series.
Like this,
so-
I gotta come back because it's gonna. I have to pee.
So I think we should have him every year, every season.
Yeah,
but
no,
I
I
definitely
agree.
think if we go to Comic-Con, we should go with Dairon like
I
man
think
on
you
the
should go with
street.
us.
And
Yeah.
it's content for us and it's content for your
Yeah.
page. Can you just imagine like comments that he will give people like, coño, ¿de qué tú estás vestido? De un chicle.
Yeah. But they won't
And it's like
understand
Gumby.
because they're like gringos, probably, right? They won't understand.
No, because it's here in Miami.
Oh.
So it's. I mean, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I do cosplay sometimes, like not to that extreme.
Yeah.
But, you know. So
Okay, man. Yeah, I'm done.
So anyway, everybody, that was our
first
episode.
Hanguiando of the year.
Our
and-
first
and
Hanguiando.
definitely-
What time is it? 1
You know
a.m.
what?
Like
the
what?
bar has been set.
What time is it?
I don't know how long is this episode, Junior?
90 minutes.
Jiminy Christmas.
Cojones.
Wow.
You should have flashed the light.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a light, just not for everybody
We
else,
have
just for when Dairon comes on.
Cojones, that's
Well,
a
the
lot.
good thing is that we don't have to edit him now because last time we had to edit
That's true.
because last time we went on, I think even longer. Like last time I was like, this is gonna be
every
like
time we could
Dairon
just-
after
Every
hours.
time we get together, we could just
That's the thing. We feed.
add on, and then hablar de lo chino.
We
We
just
gotta
feed
go
off
back
each
to
other.
that, the Chinese furniture.
So we learned today.
That's
we
why we're
learned
gonna have you back.
Today
We're gonna
we
bring you back
learned
just to talk
we
about
learned
that.
about archipelago. We learned about the topography, archipelagos, isthmus, plateaus,
Game of Thrones disappointment.
peninsulas.
Ozempic, don't forget about the pharmaceutical counseling. I
Oh,
gave.
by the way, which state in the United States has the largest coastline? The most coastline?
Alaska.
Most
No.
coastline. My gut says California, but I feel like I'm wrong.
It's Michigan.
Oh, that's like a trick question.
Oh yeah, that's
How is that a trick question?
Because it's like
lakes.
lake. I guess it's not a
and
trick
there's
question.
the UP, the Upper Peninsula.
Oh,
Whatever.
Ah.
Lakes aren't real.
Michigan is the other peninsula in the U.S. It's continental U.S. actually,
what
because
a-
everybody would think California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I know it's wrong, but I'm gonna go California.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next time we have you on the show, you're gonna tell us about your saltwater chronicles.
Saltwater. Marathon, Ozempic Chronicles,
Yeah.
Archipelago
So many
Diaries. Archipelago Diaries. That's a nice
Yes,
name.
and you're gonna come back to talk
Esau.
about.
I'm gonna give some more Esau.
You're gonna talk to us about the new podcast you started, which is Elementary with Dairon.
Yeah,
where you talk
and
about
next
the
time we're gonna
elements.
talk about Esau. More,
Yes.
some more Esau.
Yes.
I think we should go back into the root and spelling and pronunciation.
Yeah.
Of words.
I don't know what a subject. What's a predicate?
I know it's about grammar. I don't
That's
know.
the
like,
shit in the sentence that leads to the subject.
There's a subject. And
You know
there's
what?
like,
I'm not gonna counter.
There's
it. I don't know. I don't know.
No,
There's like the-
nitrogen.
Listen,
Nitrogen.
I was willing to accept that there was seaweed because it was an archipelago. So,
The
you know.
predicate is the thing that leads to the subject, no?
they taught you that in ESOL? I didn't go to ESOL. Because I'm the doctor.
Bro, I don't know.
On that note,
Yeah. We're just
Anyway.
gonna keep going.
keep
Let's
going
send it.
forever.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't. You'll
Thank
be
you
back.
so much
Leave
for
it,
coming
leave it
by,
pending.
man.
Leave it pending.
Yes.
The subject
Leave it
predicate.
wanting more. Leave it
Predicate.
wanting more.
That's where we're leaving, guys. Predicate.
We're
What
not
the
gonna
fuck?
go have some wagyu.
Yes.
I can't
Where
wait,
there's no W in Spanish.
Wa-
Remember that.
There we go.
Right, that's we leave it. Find us a word
word
in Spanish.
That starts with W.
Or that has W in it.
I'm sure it has W in it somewhere. No, I want one that starts. I want one that starts because I can't think of one.
There is.
and it doesn't include a name.
Yeah, it can't be a name.
Well, those are made up.
It can't be like Wanda.
That's a black name.
That's Wanda.
Right. I'm saying it can't be like a name. To your point, like it has to be a
No,
word.
it has to be a word.
word, yeah.
Recognized in the Spanish.
Yeah.
Institución Española
The gatekeeper. So,
All right,
anyway,
guys.
bueno,
Well,
everybody.
okay, thank you
you,
so much,
Dairon.
man.
Hasta la próxima.
Hasta la próxima.